New board day. This is the 45-litre mid-length new board from Armstrong Foils. Now, I have actually ridden this, got to test the production version over in New Zealand in the last month, but something about getting your own board, there's something special about it. But yeah, I've got a lot of thoughts on this one actually, and I think it's, everyone always talks about what disciplines it for, what this, what that, but I think this is one of those boards that can be a bit of a does it all. It's not like specifically for one task. It's not for one discipline. It's a little bit more of an all-rounder, and I'll definitely share my thoughts on all that. There she is. This is the 45-litre mid-length board. Now this thing, I don't know what, it is beautiful. There is something about this board that just has sex appeal to it. The tail, the way it comes into this tight pin, rolled, there's that little bit of rocker that rolls down to that point. It is beautiful. And even the kind of little black strips that they've started running on the rails is something you got to appreciate beauty. In terms of functionality, so it does have strap inserts. It's got 3 at the front, 3 in the middle, 3 up the side. In the back, it's got 3 and 3, but then it's also got 1's offset, so you can run slightly offset stance. The blue lines, I'm really loving this. So that's basically the position of the track, so you can see where your feet are relative to the mast, but also the bumps. There's raised deck grips there, and that's basically the front half of the track and the rear half of the track, so you can kind of feel, even without looking at where those blue lines are, where you are. So really nice and clean. They also don't have that little raised edge like they put on the wingboard, which I prefer. I wasn't a massive fan of that. I found when I pushed, especially on my toe edge against that foam thing, I felt like it just had a bit too much sponge. I want that kind of, when I push down on my rail, I want a real direct response, and I really get that with this. For geometry, you got those long carbon tracks with the sort of built-in stringers that give it that kind of full rigidity to the way you stand on the board. It's light. I mean, I hate to do the old surfboard test, but it's still, I don't know, this thing, something about how this feels. I don't know whether it's the look, what it is, but it is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful board. Can't wait to get this thing out on the water, and I'll, share my thoughts and what I kind of think it's for, or what it's been for me, and give you my thoughts on it. Let's get out there. Oh. Alrighty, 45-litre mid-length. Now, something with this board is the long tracks just give you so much, even though it's a touch longer than say what a regular prone board is, it feels really short and nimble just because it's got that long tracks. You can move the mast really far forward, give it that same swing weight, and leave the length out the back. With that length just comes so much easier paddling. Even then, the way that I caught never broke, gliding easily, fresh green water, doesn't have to break without having that whitewash behind you. It's just so much easier to get to your feet, get a feel for the foil, and just to learn, especially if you guys progressing to prone. Now, being long and narrow, to get the volume into it, they did thicken it up. And that's definitely something I've kind of noticed with this. You lose a little bit of connection to the foil. You can feel that it's a little bit longer. You can feel a little bit, sorry, not longer, thicker. You can feel that you're a little bit disconnected from the foil. Definitely doing turns, if your goal is high performance, then totally. You want to be on prone boards. Although they're harder to paddle in, the benefit is they're more responsive, definitely easier to turn. But for those wanting to learn and get into it, learning prone with these boards is so much easier, so much more accessible. Now, the other thing with these is winging. Because of that, just like what we learned with downwind boards, longer, narrower, skinnier,
Makes it a lot easier to get up on foil. Same with winging, but this is in a more compact version. It's not like a downwind board. So if you want one board that you can prone, wing, do it kind of all, this is the one. If I was going to pick one board to travel with, this was definitely the one. So yeah, look, there's always pros and cons. Woo! I definitely think this is that balance of ease of use, easy to get up, but still having that high performance. But again, comes with a touch more length. So for those pure prone guys, maybe on the small days, this is a good option, but it's never going to be as high performance as your standard prone board. So look, pros and cons, I'm loving it. It's a great, just covers a lot of bases, and it's really whatever you want with it. That's what's kind of cool with these boards, is it's not designed for one purpose, but it kind of does all. So look, I think it's a great board. They've done a really good job with it. It looks beautiful, and it covers multiple disciplines. You don't need to have prone board, wing board, wakeboard, toe board. This is kind of, if you just want one-stop shop, it'll do it all. Last thought is comparing this with a similar literage in a wingboard. I actually found, so riding the 48 litre Armstrong wingboard, I found being a little bit wider and a bit more surface area, it came up to the surface easier. But then once it was at the surface, this board got up a lot easier. Just having that narrower outline, it got up to speed a bit quicker and got up. So if you're in between gusts, I found this wanted to sink back down a little quicker. It was a little less volume, but in general, I found the other board easy to get to the surface. But then once at the surface, this one got up a bit easier. So yeah, look, I'm loving it. It's got strap inserts, so you can do your jumps winging, but you can also rip it around for turns, just like you would for prone. It's super lightweight, considering that it does have inserts. So look, it's just kind of the all-rounder. Just do what you want with it kind of board. So yeah, you.